allow me to make my remarks on some of the key shortcomings that we face in the global counter-terror architecture as anchored in the United Nations today. Distinguished delegates, you are well aware that India has faced the brunt of terrorism largely flowing from across our borders for well over 3 decades. Whether it is the Mumbai terror attacks of 2008, the 2016 Pathankot air base attack, or the 2019 Pulwama terror attacks, we have lost several thousands of innocent civilians, as well as the bravest of our armed forces in this battle against terrorism. So when we talk about plugging loopholes, capacity building, and meeting the resilience gaps, India's perspectives are coming from hardcore experiences from the front lines of innumerable battles we have fought against terrorists in practically real time on a daily basis. While the 9/11 terror bombings in this iconic city of New York had changed the landscape of the global counter-terror architecture, the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks shook the collective conscience of the world's largest democracy. 10 fully armed assailants from across our borders, well trained in conducting urban warfare, descended on the shores of Mumbai and wreaked havoc over 3 days. It resulted in 166 innocents being killed, and it included 26 foreign nationalities. During our chairship of the Security Council Counter-Terror Committee till last year, the entire UN Security Council visited Mumbai and paid collective homage at the site of the attacks in October 2022. We thank all member states present today for their solidarity in standing by the victims and in honoring their memories. We also commend the UN Office for Counter-Terrorism, who in a special gesture dedicated a tree at the Northeast Lawns to memory of all victims of terrorism, and also invited a victim of the Mumbai terror attacks to share his story yesterday. But regretfully, justice still continues to elude the victims of the Mumbai terror attacks. I'd like you all to listen to this particular sound file in the presentation, even as the terror attacks were unfolding.
जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा की छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है जा रहा है, उसको फायर ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह। तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा की छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है जा रहा है, उसको फायर ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह।
This was Sajid Mir, a very dreaded terrorist who directed the terrorists from across the border in real time to hunt down foreigners in the Taj Hotel and kill them indiscriminately. He was listed as a proscribed terrorist under the national laws of India. He was proscribed under the laws of the United States, this host country, and of several other countries globally, many of whose nationals lost their lives. But when the proposal for listing him did not go through the Security Council sanctions regime, we had strong reasons to believe that something was genuinely wrong in the global sanctions regime, as manifested in the Security Council. If we cannot get established terrorists who have been proscribed across global landscapes listed under the Security Council architecture for pure geopolitical interests, then we really do not have the genuine political will needed to sincerely fight this challenge of terrorism. 15 years after the Mumbai terror attacks, its masterminds have not yet been brought to justice. So the first and most critical gap we feel addressing is avoiding double standards and this self-defeating justification of good terrorists versus bad terrorists. A terror act is a terror act, plain and simple. Any justification of any kind being used should not be countenanced by anybody. The first gap that we feel we need to plug, therefore, is in the sanctions regime itself and see how do we improve its working methods to secure the successful listing of genuine, objective, evidence-based proposals. The second question we need to ask ourselves is, in this day and age of accountability and transparency, can we have evidence-based listing proposals blocked without giving any reason for the same? Another area which we need to address in the working methods is, can we allow for submission of proposals under the garb of anonymity? Should we not be owing up for serious proposals that are being moved for the consideration of the entire Security Council? These are some of the glaring gaps that we must meet if we have to make the sanctions regimes fit for purpose. Another important gap that we need to address is the growing potential for the misuse of new and emerging technologies by extremists, radicals, and terrorists. Over the years, they have diversified their funding portfolio and expanded their recruitment toolkit. They exploit the anonymity offered by new and emerging technologies, such as virtual currencies for fundraising and finance. Terrorist groups have also been taking advantage of the openness of pluralistic and democratic societies, spreading false narratives, even disinformation, inciting hatred and radicalizing ideologies. Under India's chairmanship of the UN Security Council Counter-Terror Committee last year, we took the important step of addressing these challenges through the unanimous adoption by all members of the Security Council of the New Delhi Declaration that suggested concrete pathways to member states for capacity building. It provides an important consensus-based policy pointer for strengthening the resilience gaps and making our collective effort fit for purpose. Actually, we even have a side event day after tomorrow at ECOSOC, along with the UAE delegation, and invites all of you to attend that because it focuses on the implementation of the Delhi Declaration. One final element of concern that I would like all member states to ponder is this increasing disconcerting trend to get religion or religiophobia inadvertently inserted in the terrorism discourse. Friends, it's a slippery slope which in our view is best avoided. Representing a pluralistic and diverse democracy which is home to all religions of the world, it is our considered submission that the United Nations global CT architecture must treat all religions equally and avoid any selective singling out that tends to elevate one religion over the other. I leave this as a thought for all member states to introspect upon. In the last 2 decades, terrorism has been significantly countered and its justification delegitimized. But this battle of ours remains work in progress. It's a battle in which there is no respite. If we have to seriously address the resilience gaps, ensuring the integrity and accountability of the counter-terror multilateral mechanism and the transparency of their working methods is an essential prerequisite. We hope that when the Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy Review is adopted in the General Assembly very soon, it's based on a comprehensive, contemporary, and a result-oriented approach that brings the entire membership of the United Nations together in tackling this greatest scourge of our times. India had proposed an 8-point action plan on counter-terrorism to the UN Security Council in early 2021. If we earnestly, and I repeat, earnestly implement the 8-point action plan, we can avert a lot of threats. Addressing the India-hosted No Money for Counter-Terror conference last year, our Prime Minister had said, and I quote, "We consider that even a single attack is one too many, and even a single life lost is one too many. So we will not rest till terrorism is uprooted," unquote. Friends, all it takes for the other side is one slip-up on our part.